The stars looked different from this part of the galaxy. Commander Alex Reed stood at the viewport of the ESS horizon, watching as the unknown solar system came into view. His ship, along with two smaller scout vessels, represented humanity's best hope for a peaceful first contact with the advanced civilization they had detected in the Valen system. "Commander, we're picking up signals. Multiple vessels approaching our position," First Officer Rivera reported, her voice steady despite the tension filling the bridge. Alex nodded, his weathered face showing no fear. At 42, he had seen more of space than almost any other human. This mission could change everything for Earth, a planet now struggling with resource depletion and climate instability. "Maintain course. Keep our weapon systems offline," he ordered. "Let's show them we come in peace." The approaching ships appeared on their screens, elegant vessels that seemed to flow through space rather than push against it. Their hulls gleamed with a pearlescent sheen that shifted colors as they moved. Even the most experienced crew members gasped at the sight. "They're beautiful," Rivera whispered. Alex agreed silently. In all his years exploring the stars, he had never seen anything like the Valyrian fleet. Intelligence reports had mentioned their technological superiority, but seeing it firsthand was humbling. A voice came through their communication system, speaking perfect English with a musical quality that seemed impossible for a human throat to create. "Earth vessels, you are welcome to Valen space. Please follow our escort to the homeworld. The Queen awaits your arrival." Alex exchanged glances with Rivera. They had expected months of careful communication before any invitation to the alien homeworld. This immediate welcome was unexpected and potentially concerning. "Acknowledged, Valyrian vessels. We accept your escort and look forward to meeting your queen," Alex responded, making the decision that would forever change his life and the future of humanity. The journey to the Valyrian homeworld took 3 days, during which the human crew prepared for the diplomatic meeting. Alex studied what little they knew about Valyrian culture and practiced the formal greetings their xenolinguists had prepared. When they finally arrived, the sight of the planet left everyone speechless. Great crystalline cities rose from lush forests and floated among the clouds. Oceans of deep purple lapped at shores of silver sand. It was like something from a dream. Their landing craft touched down in a vast plaza of what appeared to be living stone, a material that shifted slightly beneath their feet as if breathing. "Remember," Alex told his team as they prepared to disembark, "we represent all of humanity here. Let's make a good first impression." The delegation was led through towering archways into a grand hall filled with Valyrians. The aliens stood taller than humans, with iridescent skin in shades of blue and green. Their eyes were large and expressive, set in elegant faces that reminded Alex of ancient statues from Earth. At the far end of the hall, seated on a throne that seemed to grow from the floor itself, was the Queen. Even from a distance, Alex could tell she was different from the others, her presence commanding attention without effort. The formal introductions began. Representatives from both sides spoke of peace and cooperation. Alex stepped forward when it was his turn, reciting the greeting he had practiced. That's when everything changed. The Queen rose suddenly, her eyes fixed on Alex with an intensity that made his heart race. The Valyrian court fell silent as she descended from her throne and moved toward the human delegation. Protocol forgotten, she walked directly to Alex. Up close, her beauty was almost painful to behold, ancient wisdom in eyes that shimmered like galaxies. Without warning, she reached out and embraced him, her touch sending a shock of warmth through his body. When she spoke, her voice resonated not just in his ears, but somehow directly in his mind. "At last," she said, holding him as if he were precious beyond measure, "I found you, my human." The hall erupted in shocked murmurs. Alex stood frozen in the alien Queen's embrace, utterly bewildered yet feeling an inexplicable sense of recognition. Something momentous had just happened, and nothing would ever be the same again. Silence fell over the grand hall. Alex stood awkwardly in the Queen's embrace, aware of hundreds of alien eyes watching them. When she finally released him, he noticed the mix of emotions on the faces of the Valyrian court. Some looked awed, others suspicious, and a few seemed outright angry. "Your Majesty," a tall Valyrian with deep blue skin stepped forward. "This is most unusual. The human delegation should be properly examined before such familiarity." Queen Lyra turned to the speaker, her expression firm but gentle. "Advisor Toll, the prophecy speaks for itself. Look at him. The marks are undeniable." Alex glanced at Rivera and the rest of his team, who appeared just as confused as he felt. "Excuse me, Your Majesty," he said carefully, "but what prophecy are you referring to?" The Queen smiled, her eyes shimmering with an inner light. "Come with me, Commander Reed. There is much to explain." She led the human delegation to a smaller chamber off the main hall. The walls were covered in strange, glowing symbols that shifted and moved like living things. In the center stood a pedestal holding what looked like an ancient book made of thin crystal sheets. "For 1,000 years, Queen Lyra began, her voice taking on a formal tone. Our people have kept this prophecy. It speaks of a time when our world would begin to falter, and of a being from the distant stars who would complete the cosmic balance." She gestured to the book, and the crystal pages turned on their own, stopping at an image that made Alex's breath catch. The drawing showed a figure that, while stylized, was unmistakably human, standing between twin moons that matched the Valyrian system perfectly. "The Star Walker will bear the mark of the crossed lines here." She touched her own forehead, then looked at Alex. "Just as you do." Alex's hand automatically went to the small, cross-shaped scar on his forehead, a reminder of a childhood accident he'd had years ago. "This is quite a coincidence," he said carefully. One of the Queen's advisors, a female Valyrian with silvery skin, approached. "It is no coincidence. The prophecy describes other traits, the exact shade of your eyes, the pattern of your life force energy that our sensors detected when your ships entered our system. The probability of all these markers matching by chance is virtually zero." Alex felt overwhelmed. "What exactly does this prophecy say I'm supposed to do?" Queen Lyra's expression grew serious. "Our world is dying, Commander Reed. Slowly, but certainly. For generations, Valyrians have shared a deep empathic connection with our planet. We can feel its pain as our own. Something unknown is poisoning the planetary consciousness, and our best minds have found no cure." She stepped closer to Alex, her eyes pleading. "The prophecy says the Star Walker holds the key to saving our world, not through knowledge or technology, but through something within you, something unique to your kind." Rivera cleared her throat. "Your Majesty, while we're honored by your interest in Commander Reed, we're here on a diplomatic mission representing all of Earth. We can't just hand over our commanding officer based on an ancient text." The Queen nodded respectfully. "Of course, we ask nothing without consent and understanding. But I must tell you that when I embraced Commander Reed, I felt something I cannot explain. A resonance between us, as if we have known each other across time and space." Alex couldn't deny that he had felt it too. A strange connection, like finding a missing piece of himself he hadn't known was lost. "Earth Command will need to be informed," he said finally. "And I'll need to understand more about this prophecy and what exactly you think I can do." Queen Lyra smiled, relief visible on her face. "Then you will stay." Alex looked around at the alien technology, the beautiful yet dying world, and the Queen whose touch had seemed so familiar despite being utterly alien. "I'll stay long enough to learn more," he agreed, feeling somehow that he was stepping onto a path that had been waiting for him his entire life. Behind him, he missed the dark look that passed between two of the Valyrian advisors. 3 days had passed since the shocking meeting with Queen Lyra. Alex sat on an examination table in what the Valyrians called their Life Sciences Center, a vast laboratory filled with equipment he could barely comprehend. Around him, alien scientists worked with quiet efficiency, occasionally glancing his way with undisguised curiosity. "Your cellular structure is fascinating, Commander Reed," said Dr. Marin, the lead Valyrian scientist. Unlike most of her kind, her skin was a pale lavender. Human cells regenerate in ways ours simply cannot. Alex watched as a holographic display showed the comparison between Valyrian and human cell samples. Is that unusual? I thought most living things could heal themselves. Not like humans, Dr. Marin replied, her large eyes blinking slowly. Your species adapts to almost anything. Radiation, toxins, extreme temperatures. Valyrians are more specialized. We evolved in a stable environment and never developed such resilience. This was the third round of tests Alex had agreed to undergo. Earth Command had reluctantly approved his extended stay, hoping to gain insights into Valyrian technology. What they didn't know was how deep Alex's involvement had become. The door slid open, and Queen Lyra entered. Everyone in the room immediately bowed their heads in respect. I hope these examinations aren't too uncomfortable for you, she said, approaching Alex. I've had worse physical exams in the Earth military, he replied with a small smile. Though usually they don't involve glowing probes. The Queen returned his smile. Come. You've been patient enough today. I want to show you something. She led him through the crystalline corridors of the royal palace to a secluded garden. Unlike the formal gardens they had passed before, this one felt wild and ancient. At its center stood a tree unlike any Alex had ever seen. Its trunk was transparent, and inside, what looked like blue lightning pulsed and flowed. This is a memory tree, Queen Lyra explained. It's connected to our planetary consciousness. Through it, I can teach you about our people faster than words would allow. Alex hesitated. Is it safe? For most non-Valyrians, no. But you? She reached out, her fingers nearly touching his face. Your mind seems compatible with ours. That's another thing the prophecy foretold. Taking a deep breath, Alex nodded. All right. I trust you. Queen Lyra placed her hands gently on either side of his head. The moment they touched, Alex gasped. Images, feelings, and knowledge poured into his mind. The history of Valyria, its connection to the living planet, the harmonious way the Valyrians had evolved alongside their world. When it ended, Alex staggered backward, overwhelmed but exhilarated. That was incredible. The Queen was staring at him with wonder. You received all of it. No non-Valyrian has ever been able to process so much at once. Before Alex could respond, his communication device buzzed. It was Rivera. Commander, we've received urgent orders from Earth Command. They want a full report on Valyrian defensive capabilities immediately. Alex frowned. That wasn't part of our mission parameters. They've upgraded our mission status. They're saying it's vital intelligence now, not just diplomatic contact. After ending the call, Alex looked up to find Queen Lyra watching him intently. Your people don't trust us, she said. It wasn't a question. Some don't, Alex admitted. Earth is desperate. Our resources are running out. Some military leaders see advanced civilizations as potential threats or potential solutions to our problems. The Queen moved closer, her expression serious. And what do you see, Alex Reed? I see a chance for both our worlds to help each other, he answered honestly. But I need to know more about what connects us. Why me? What is it about humans that matters to your prophecy? Queen Lyra touched the memory tree, and it pulsed brighter. Tomorrow, I will show you our deepest secret, the truth about the sickness affecting our world. Then you will understand why the connection between us matters so much. As they walked back toward the palace, neither noticed the small drone following them, transmitting everything back to a group of Valyrians who believed the human represented not salvation, but danger. Morning came with an urgent alert from Rivera. Alex rushed to meet her in their temporary quarters, finding her face grim with worry. Earth Command sent new orders during the night, she said, handing him a secure tablet. They want us to acquire Valyrian technology samples, by any means necessary. Alex read the message twice, his stomach sinking. This is theft, not diplomacy. They're calling it securing humanity's future, Rivera replied, her voice tight. The resource crisis on Earth is worse than they've been telling us. They think Valyrian technology could solve everything. Alex paced the room, conflicted. His duty to Earth warred with his growing connection to the Valyrians. To Queen Lyra. I can't do this. It goes against everything our mission stood for. Before Rivera could respond, the door burst open. 3 Valyrian guards entered, weapons drawn. Commander Reed, the lead guard said coldly, "You will come with us immediately." "What's happening?" Alex demanded as they were escorted through unfamiliar corridors. "Advisor Toll has ordered your containment," the guard answered. "You have been declared a security risk." They were led to a laboratory Alex hadn't seen before. Inside, several Valyrians in dark robes stood around examination equipment that looked more ominous than the tools Dr. Merrin had used. Advisor Toll stepped forward, his blue skin almost black in the dim light. The human must be studied more thoroughly. The compatibility he shows with our systems is too valuable to trust to the prophecy alone. One of the robed Valyrians approached with what looked like a neural probe. "This won't hurt much, Commander. We simply need to understand how your mind works." Alex backed away, looking for an escape route. "Queen Lyra authorized my examinations with Dr. Merrin. She needs to approve any additional tests." Toll's expression hardened. "The Queen's judgment is compromised by the prophecy. The High Council has granted me temporary authority in this matter." As the Valyrians moved toward him, the doors suddenly opened. Queen Lyra stood there, flanked by her royal guards, her normally serene face fierce with anger. "Release him immediately," she commanded, her voice echoing with power Alex hadn't heard before. Toll bowed slightly, but didn't back down. "My queen, the Council has concerns about your attachment to this human. We must verify if he truly matches the prophecy or merely appears to." "You overstep, Advisor," Queen Lyra said, moving into the room. The air around her seemed to shimmer with energy. "The Council granted you authority to investigate, not to imprison a diplomatic guest." The tension in the room built until Alex could almost feel it pressing against his skin. Then, to everyone's surprise, his communication device buzzed loudly. It was a message from the horizon. "Commander, be advised. Earth Command has dispatched advanced combat units to your location. Their orders are to secure Valyrian technology samples and retreat. ETA 72 hours. All eyes turned to Alex. The betrayal cut both ways now. He looked directly at Queen Lyra. "Your Majesty, I need to speak with you privately. Earth is planning something I didn't authorize." Toll stepped between them. "Proof that humans cannot be trusted. We should contain all of them until—" "Enough." Queen Lyra's voice carried such force that the lights flickered. "Commander Reed has shown nothing but honesty since his arrival. I will hear him out." In her private chambers, Alex confessed everything. "Earth Command wants your technology. They're desperate enough to take it by force. I won't help them, but I can't stop an armed extraction team alone." Queen Lyra's eyes held his. "Then we stand together. But know this means choosing sides. Alex Reed, your people or mine." Alex thought of Earth, his home. Then he remembered the feeling of connection when the Queen had first embraced him. The truth he'd felt then. "I choose what's right," he said simply. "I choose to help you." The Queen's relief was visible, but her words were solemn. "Then we must prepare. Toll's faction and your Earth forces both threaten everything we've worked toward." Outside the window, one of the twin moons glowed brightly, just as it had in the ancient prophecy. The Royal Laboratory hummed with activity. Dr. Merrin and her team worked frantically, analyzing data while Queen Lyra and Alex watched. On massive screens, images of microscopic organisms pulsed and multiplied. "We found it 2 days ago," Dr. Merrin explained, pointing to a strange, spider-like parasite. "It attacks the neural pathways that connect Valyrians to our planetary consciousness." Alex leaned closer, studying the creature. It doesn't look natural. Because it isn't, Queen Lyra said quietly. We believe it was engineered specifically to target our species, a biological weapon. The revelation hit Alex hard. Who would do this? We don't know, Dr. Marin answered. But it's been slowly spreading through our ecosystem for at least a century. The effects were too subtle to notice until recently. Queen Lyra touched a control panel, and a new image appeared, a scan of Alex's blood. This is why you're important, Alex. Look. The screen zoomed in on his blood cells, which were attacking and destroying the parasites that had been introduced to the sample. Human immune systems evolved differently than ours, Dr. Marin explained. Your body produces antibodies that can identify and neutralize the parasite. Ours cannot. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. So the prophecy, it wasn't mystical at all. Your ancestors somehow knew your people would face this threat someday, and that humans might carry the solution. Queen Lyra nodded. Our ancestors were advanced scientists. What looks like prophecy to us now was likely their research, preserved in a form that would survive ages of cultural change. But this creates a new problem, said Dr. Marin, her expression grave. Earth forces are coming to take our technology. If they learn about this parasite, they might try to take you too, Commander Reed. Your immune system is incredibly valuable. The realization of his position dawned on Alex. His blood could save an entire civilization, but it might also become a weapon in the wrong hands. Earth Command, desperate for solutions to their own problems, would certainly see the strategic value. There's something else you need to know, Queen Lyra said, dismissing the other scientists with a gesture. When they were alone, she took Alex's hands in hers. The connection between us is more than the prophecy. From the moment we met, our life forces began to intertwine. What does that mean? Alex asked, though part of him already knew. It means we're linked now. I can feel your emotions, your strength, and it means the solution isn't as simple as creating a vaccine from your antibodies. She led him to a secure room deeper in the laboratory. Inside was a chamber filled with swirling blue energy, similar to the memory tree, but far more intense. To save my world, we need to merge your immune response with our planetary consciousness. It would require you to connect with the planet as Valyrians do, through me. The process has never been attempted with a non-Valyrian before. Alex stared at the chamber. What are the risks? Queen Lyra's eyes filled with worry. Your consciousness could be lost in the planetary mind. You might never return to your human form. And for me, she hesitated. My life force is already weakened from fighting the parasite. Guiding you through the process might drain what strength I have left. Alex felt the weight of the decision. On one side, Earth and his duty to humanity. On the other, Queen Lyra and an entire civilization on the brink of collapse. Before he could answer, an alarm blared through the facility. Rivera's voice came through his communicator. Commander, Earth forces have arrived early. They've deployed stealth ships and are preparing to land. We have less than 12 hours. Queen Lyra's expression hardened with determination. We've run out of time. Alex, what will you choose? Looking into her eyes, Alex saw not just an alien queen, but someone who had become precious to him in ways he couldn't fully explain. I'll do it, he said firmly. Tell me what I need to do. Preparations for the merging ritual moved at frantic speed. While Valyrian guards fortified the laboratory complex against the approaching Earth forces, Dr. Marin and her team calibrated the consciousness chamber. Alex sat quietly as they attached neural sensors to his temples and chest. His mind raced with doubts and fears, but his decision remained firm. The process will happen in 3 stages, Dr. Marin explained. First, your consciousness will link with Queen Lyra's. Then she will guide you to the planetary mind. Finally, your immune response pattern must be transferred to the core consciousness. Queen Lyra entered, now dressed in ceremonial robes of silver and blue. The room fell silent as she approached Alex. Are you certain? She asked softly. Once we begin, turning back becomes impossible. Alex nodded. I'm sure. Rivera and the remaining human crew arrived under guard. Her eyes widened when she saw Alex connected to the alien equipment. Commander, what are you doing? She demanded. Earth forces will be here in hours. We need to evacuate. I'm doing what's right, Rivera. Alex replied calmly. The Valyrians aren't our enemies. They're fighting against something that could destroy their entire civilization. He explained about the parasite and the prophecy's true meaning. Rivera listened, her expression shifting from confusion to understanding. Earth Command doesn't know any of this, she said finally. They think this is just about acquiring advanced technology. Which is why I need you to contact them. Alex said. Tell them the truth. Maybe we can stop this before it becomes a war. Rivera hesitated, then straightened. I'll try. But what you're attempting sounds dangerous. It is, Queen Lyra confirmed. Commander Reed's consciousness will be vulnerable during the merging. An explosion shook the building. Through the windows, they could see ships descending from orbit. Earth's extraction team had arrived. We're out of time, Dr. Marin announced. The chamber is ready. Queen Lyra took her position in a second pod adjacent to Alex. As the transparent covers closed over them, their eyes met. Whatever happens, she said, her voice carrying through the speaker system, know that you have changed my world already. Alex Reed. The chamber hummed to life. Blue energy, similar to the memory tree's essence, flowed around them. Alex felt a gentle pressure in his mind, then a presence that was unmistakably Lyra. Asterisk, I'm here with you. Asterisk, her thoughts came clearly. Asterisk, follow me, asterisk. The laboratory faded from Alex's perception. Instead, he experienced a vast network of light and sensation, the collective consciousness of the Valyrian planet. It was beautiful and terrifying, ancient beyond comprehension. Asterisk, this is our world mind, asterisk, Lyra's thoughts guided him. Asterisk, and there. Asterisk, she directed his attention to dark patches spreading through the network. Asterisk is the infection, asterisk. Alex could see it clearly now. The parasite was consuming the connections, isolating portions of the consciousness. Together, they moved deeper, toward the center where the oldest, strongest part of the planetary mind resided. Another explosion, closer this time. In the physical world, Earth forces had breached the outer defenses. Dr. Marin watched anxiously as the neural interfaces showed the merging progressing. Their consciousness patterns are fully synchronized, she reported. They've reached the core. At the complex entrance, Rivera faced the Earth military commander. You need to stop this attack immediately, she insisted. There's something you don't understand. Inside the planet mind. Alex and Lyra reached the core. Here, the infection was worst, tendrils of darkness threatening the bright center. Asterisk now, asterisk, Lyra's presence urged. Asterisk, share your immunity. But be careful not to lose yourself, asterisk. Alex focused on his human biology, on the antibodies that naturally fought the parasite. He imagined them flowing outward, spreading through the network. Pain shot through him as the merging deepened. He could feel himself stretching, dissolving into the vast consciousness. Panic rose. He was losing his identity, forgetting who Alex Reed had been. Asterisk, hold on to me. Asterisk, Lyra's presence enveloped him, anchoring him. Asterisk, remember who you are, asterisk. In the laboratory, alarms blared as both bodies convulsed. We're losing them, Dr. Marin shouted. Their life signs are failing. Outside, the first shots were fired as Earth forces pushed inward, determined to complete their mission at any cost. Time lost meaning for Alex as he floated in the vast ocean of the planetary consciousness. His human identity had become a distant memory, just one small light in an endless network of minds. The only anchor keeping him from dissolving completely was his connection to Lyra. As his immune patterns spread through the planet mind, Alex made a discovery. The parasite had not appeared randomly. Embedded within its structure was a signature, a marker of deliberate design. Images flashed before him. Another spacefaring race, jealous of Valyrian advancement, releasing the biological weapon centuries ago, expecting it to work quickly. Instead, it had taken generations to reach its full effect. Asterisk, we need to pull back, asterisk, Lyra's presence urged. Asterisk, you've done enough. Stay any longer, and you'll be lost forever, asterisk. But Alex hesitated. He could feel the planetary mind absorbing his immunity, adapting it, but the process wasn't complete. If he withdrew now, the healing would be partial at best. Asterisk, a little longer, asterisk, he insisted, pushing more of himself into the connection. In the laboratory, chaos reigned. Earth forces had breached the inner defenses. Rivera and the human crew, having chosen to stand with the Valyrians, fought alongside them to protect the ritual chamber. Dr. Marin monitored the life signs of both participants with growing horror. The Queen's energy is critically low, she reported. She's using her own life force to keep the commander's consciousness intact. Through the smoke and weapons fire, Advisor Toll appeared, his face a mask of anger and fear. Stop this madness. The human will destroy us all. Look. A young Valyrian scientist pointed at their monitoring equipment. Throughout the complex, plants that had been withering for months suddenly began to show new growth. On the screens, the dark infection within the planet mind was receding, replaced by healthy connections. Deep in the merged consciousness, Alex felt himself slipping away. He had gone too far, given too much. But he could see the results. The infection was being purged, the planet mind healing itself with his human immunity as a template. Asterisk, Alex, asterisk. Lyra's presence wrapped around him desperately. Asterisk, come back to me, asterisk. With the last of her strength, Queen Lyra began pulling Alex's consciousness back from the brink of dissolution. The strain was enormous, threatening her own existence, but she refused to let go. In the chamber, her physical body arched in pain. She's going into system failure, Dr. Marin cried, rushing to stabilize the Queen's pod. Outside, the fighting suddenly stopped. Earth soldiers and Valyrians alike stared in amazement as the ground beneath them began to pulse with soft blue light. Across the complex, along the walls, new plants began to sprout, unlike any seen before on Valyria. They were hybrids, combining Valyrian crystal structures with Earth-like organic patterns. Inside the planet mind, Alex felt Lyra's presence weakening as she fought to bring him back. Asterisk, don't sacrifice yourself for me, asterisk, he pleaded. Asterisk, the prophecy never said which of us would save the other, asterisk, came her fading reply. With a final surge of will, Alex turned his focus from the planet to Lyra. Drawing on the last of his human identity, he reached for her fading light and pulled. In the chamber, both bodies gasped simultaneously as consciousness returned. The pods opened with a hiss of escaping air. Alex sat up first, his vision blurry but clearing. He looked different. His skin had a faint bluish tint, and when he touched his face, he felt small crystalline patterns beneath the surface. Beside him, Queen Lyra opened her eyes. They glowed with a new intensity. You came back, she whispered. Both of us. Earth Command arrived in full force 3 days later, prepared for war. Instead, they found a united front of humans and Valyrians. Alex and Queen Lyra, both changed by their shared consciousness, demonstrated the remarkable new hybrid plants growing where the parasite had once devastated the ecosystem. These plants can purify air and water more effectively than anything on Earth, Alex explained to the stunned military commander. And they'll grow on our planet too. A truce was negotiated, then a treaty. The Valyrians would help restore Earth's damaged ecosystems using their regenerative knowledge, while humans would help protect Valyria from future biological threats with their adaptive immunity. Standing in the royal garden months later, Alex watched the twin moons rise over the healing planet. Queen Lyra joined him, their hands touching naturally. The prophecy is fulfilled, she said, but our story is just beginning. Alex smiled, feeling the gentle pulse of the planetary consciousness at the edge of his mind. a gift from their merging. Two worlds, he said, are always stronger than one alone.